Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel From Broken to Beautiful. I am Jasmine, and I'm here to, first to welcome all the new subscribers to the channel. I was really shocked when I just saw people still subscribing to the channel when I dropped my video 2 years ago about how not to date the counterfeit, and oh my goodness, people are still checking out that video, and it's just a blessing to me that people are still coming through, still looking at the videos, still trying to hear what I'm saying. The last time I came on here, I just came on here to pop in because, man, the Lord had been speaking, had been showing me things, and boom, I was like, man, I saw God, so let me go in here and do a video. But now I'm back. And you know what? I really will be consistent because this is the year that it's time for, it's time for us that have been called to something, that are doing something that God is telling them to do. It's time for us to really be consistent. Sorry, my nose itch, y'all. But to really be consistent with the things that God is telling us to do, to not hold off or not to wait or to feel as if you got to have it perfect. Look, that is what has held me up this whole entire time, y'all. And I'm sorry, look, I'm recording on my phone, so if it looks kind of awkward, it's because I'm trying to see where to look at. But I'm just gonna do what I've been doing, okay? But sometimes for us, we can this is a year where, in order for us to see the blessings, to see God's hand work in our lives, it's going to take for us to put something behind that. It's going to take for us to be consistent. It's going to take for us to put something in there. You know what I'm saying? It's not for us to just wait for God to release it. I think we'll begin to see the hand of God when we begin to move in the things that He has called us to do, that He's told us to do, but we have just held off because we felt like we didn't have it all together. So here I am, and sorry, my nose keep itching, y'all. But here I am on here doing what God has told me to do, recording on my phone, have a light, you know what I'm saying? I don't have all the special things that, one would probably have, but here I am doing what God has told me to do. And I just hope, for one, that is an encouragement to the person that will listen to this and that will watch this and understand that all God needs is for you to give Him a yes. He doesn't need anything else. He doesn't need for you to, try and have it all perfected. God needs, when He say go, He wants you to go with what you already have. And it's not always to go and start something or do something once you feel that you have it all worked out all the time. All right. So this year we're going to go forward or go towards what God is calling us to do. Amen. All right. So that takes us to our topic. So today, okay, so just real quick, not recap, but so we're getting ready. This is going to be my first episode. It's called Beauty Talk. All right. Back in 2020, I believe, at the height of the pandemic, God had placed on my heart to, I had a group on Facebook called From Broken to Beautiful, or Broken to Beautiful, where it's a community of women where we would, come on, and, it was just a place for support. And during that time, we used to have these segments called Beauty Talk. And Beauty Talk was really just a segment, for women to come on, to be honest, transparent about, things. We had certain topics that we talked about, but it was just a time for us to just be honest and transparent about the things that we were going through. I would go live and God would give me something, or, I would have women to come in to share what God has done pertaining to whatever that particular situation was. So today is episode 1 of Beauty Talk. God said, bring it back. And where does Beauty Talk come from? Beauty Talk comes from, just the fact that, when you go to the beauty shop and you get your hair done and, your hair is all beautiful, or you sit in a chair, get your hair done, and you kind of just have these conversations with your beautician. And the beautician, it's almost like to become your therapist. You get what I'm saying? Y'all just talking about things in life, and, there's some wisdom that comes from that person that is basically got your hair, or your crown in their hands. And so, Beauty Talk is just for us as women, beautiful women, and, this is not really catered towards the men, but, just beautiful women where we will just talk, and come together and have real, just transparent conversations about our healing, about our process, what God has done, and, just having where you can really let go of your crown and to really be bare. Because when you go to the beauty shop, you're bare. You know what I'm saying? You come in looking one way and then you come out looking another way. Ain't that just like God? Or you come in one way with him and then you leave another way. All right. So that brings us to our first episode, and this episode is going to be titled, when you find this video, you look for this video, it's going to be titled How to Navigate Heartbreak. Okay. But the topic that we're going to be talking about is they left you, now what? Okay. They left you, now what? I don't know how many of us have been or have relationships with people. Now this is, relationships with, I'm going to be speaking from a place of relationship when you are talking to talking to a man, you know what I'm saying? Or someone of the opposite sex. Say if you're a guy watching this, they left you, now what? How do you navigate the hurt that you feel when you have given somebody your all, you've given someone your heart, and then they don't in return appreciate you as of like what you brought into their lives, or they don't accept you? Man, the rejection that you feel when you feel as if like, man, I believe that this is something I can build on. This is something I can, build with this person. And then it turns out to not be it. And they leave you. And here you are with your heart just out here bleeding at times. You know what I'm saying? Because depending on how deep it was, but here you are bleeding. And you have to sit here and deal with your pain, right? You have to sit here and deal with the pain and everything that they have, that the loss or them moving, what it has done to you. So how do you navigate that, right? First thing, and this is what I realized, because, I just recently, y'all, I'm divorced, now I'm just a single woman now, you know what I'm saying? It's been almost 3 years. But here I am, a single woman. So, I was talking to a guy, and this guy was talking to, like, man, I thought that this guy was like, we had so much in common. When you think about people or a person that you want to be with, you think about someone like, man, we really have this strong connection. We have the same interests. And for me, when I find somebody that loves church, like how I love church, like I love the Lord, I have a relationship with the Lord and all that stuff. So I'm not a religious type person, but there are certain things I do love church. And I felt this person loved church just how I love church. We had a real, like, just dynamic type of relationship. And, and that relationship went sour. They no longer, they no longer saw me the same way that I saw them. And here I am with my heart on my sleeve. Here I am like, hold on, like, we were talking about, well, you begin to plan a future with this person. You get what I'm saying? Not that anything is set in stone, but you begin to plan a future with that person. And, then next thing you know, that person, decided that this is not what they wanted. And, you have to respect that. But at the end of the day, it brings on rejection, because you wonder, like, well, what is wrong with me? The fact that you don't want to, go on with me, or to, keep things going with me. Like, the hole that you feel, you get what I'm saying? When you have this mindset of what it is or what it could be, and then it turns out to not be that way, and they leave you, I tell you, it's hard to swallow. But this is what I've learned throughout this process. This is what I've learned just with navigating heartbreak. Even when my ex-husband, when he left me, now what do I do? How do I heal this heart that's bleeding? You know what I'm saying? The emptiness and a void that I feel on the inside. How do I navigate that? Well, for me, what I did, for one, I had to come to an acceptance. A lot of times, we don't want to accept something. We may chase a thing, but let me tell you, as a woman, do not chase a man, do not chase a situation. Don't do that, because all it does, it makes it harder for you to move on, because it's like the more and more that you want them to see you, the more and more that you want them to choose you, it's like the more and more they go in the opposite direction as to what you want. So first, you have to, when you are dealing with that heartbreak and you're on the other side and you're on that side of it where, like, man, you were all in and then this happens. It happened abruptly. Maybe that person cheated on you. You get what I'm saying? You like, hold on, like, now, how? I don't even know how do I move on? First thing that you want to do is, accept it. You have to accept it. You have to accept it that this is not what you thought it was, and understand that them walking out and leaving you or not accepting you is for your good. It's God's way of protecting you. It's God's way of saying, look, I know the plans I have for you. I know the person I have for you. And I just need you to trust me. And that's the hardest part, because for us, we think that we know. I know I did. I was like, hold on, God. I know that this person is it. And then it turns out to not be it. You get what I'm saying? And so once you come to that acceptance and knowing that what God has for you is for you, that person that God has for you, you're not going to have to, beg them to be with you. They're going to see you and value you. They are going to be pursuing you. They're not going to walk out and leave you, because it's not just going to be you being the person that is putting in all that effort. It's going to be reciprocated on the other side. It's going to be reciprocated. You're not going to have to go through this alone. You're not. Secondly, I would say, okay, so you accept it. Now what you have to do is, first, okay, let me say this. Do not blame yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you know for sure that you didn't play a role in this, you get what I'm saying? Or even if you did, understand that, my pastor says people are going to be people. People are going to do what they want to do. What you have to do is not begin to take what they couldn't accept or appreciate in you and put it on yourself as if there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. You get what I'm saying? It may not have just been what it was. You get what I'm saying? It may not have been what God had intended or what his plans was for your life. You get what I'm saying? So do not blame yourself. Understand that they have their battle that they're dealing with, and that's on them. For you, all you have to do is just accept it, and then you take everything that this process, this feeling, this heartbreak is causing you. You got to take it to the Lord in prayer. Because if you don't, and this is where the brokenness comes from, because every time you give yourself to someone, you know what I'm saying, you give them your heart, they take something with you, right? They take something with you. What you have to do in return, you have to know who you are, and just know who you are in God. And in those moments where you don't really understand, then you really need to go to God and say, look, this is how I feel, and this is how I feel, and ask God to really begin to heal you. You got to let go of all bitterness, all jealousy, resentment, anger, all that stuff. You got to let all that go, because those things begin to fester in your body, and you don't need all that. Look, life is stressful as it is. We're coming out of being in a pandemic. There's so much stuff that we have to deal with, sis, bro. Let it go. Talk to the Lord. Deal with the pain. Deal with the discomfort. Do not chase. Do not chase, right? So make sure that you pray and you give it to God. Once you do give it to God, okay, so that's my number. And you have given it to God, and you are going through your process, now what I would say to do is to invest within yourself. I would say start to pour back into you. Start to do the things. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Start to do the things that you desire, or that you love to do. And then I truly believe at that point, then you'll begin to see the fruit of, you really investing into yourself, because a lot of times we put so much into other people, but we don't know how to invest in ourselves. And so really begin to do that, to invest in you. And if whatever it is that you like to do, start to do those things. And once you go through those steps, because that's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling y'all, you may find another way. When I tell you, there's so many YouTube videos out here. Find those YouTube videos. Find them. And they will, they may have some helpful tips for you. But for me, what I had to, the three things that I told you that I had to do, that's exactly what I did. You know what I'm saying? I had to accept, go to God in prayer. And then thirdly, I had to start to invest in me. And when I started to invest in me, and I began to know what I like, because a lot of times I really believe that when you know more of who you are, I think that will save us from our heartbreak. And I think it will save us from, people, when they leave us, they're taking something with them. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't want anybody to take from you to where it depletes you. And that's how it can happen when you give and you give and you give and you give. And it seems like they're just taking from you. They're not adding any type of value into you. So sis or bro, I would say, I'm going to tell you, you are going to make it through this heartbreak. You are going to make it through this hard time that you're in. You know what I'm saying? It's uncomfortable. You may have desired that relationship. That person may have been all that you asked for, that you may have prayed for. But let me tell you, what God has for you, it is for you. And that's what I'm telling myself. I'm truly believing that what God has for me is for me. And I know the caliber of the woman that I am, who God created me to be. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe that what God has for me, when He bring it my way, when it comes, look, I cannot wait for that to happen, because I truly believe that when it's your time, when it's your person, when it's that person, you don't have to worry about that heartbreak. Now, will it be difficult and challenging? Yes, it will. But the heartbreak of it, you're not going to have to deal with that. You just have to deal with the challenge of that relationship. So they left you. Now what? Now what I'm about to do? I'm about to live. That's it. I'm about to live. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to live. You're going to be able to do the things that you always and that you desire to do. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to allow that situation to keep you bound up, locked up in a house. You don't want to do anything. No, it's time for you to live. It's time for you to live. It's no longer, it's time. Nope. We got to shake this stuff off, go through the process, go through the acceptance. We're not begging anybody to want us. If they leave, let them go. You get what I'm saying? If they leave, let them go. What I have learned, if it's God, they'll come back around. They'll come back around. And if they don't, you have to accept it. And so one of the things that I even pray for, we went on a fast at the beginning at my church. So one of the things I began to pray for is that I let go of the what ifs. Ooh, that's it. That's it right there. That's number 4. Let go of the what ifs of that relationship. That's how you're going to get over your heartbreak. Let go of the what ifs. What if? I started listing everybody that I had what ifs. What if so-and-so? What if? No, I said, God, I let go of the what ifs of this particular person. So that way I'm not holding on to something that will never come into fruition. You know what I'm saying? It will never happen. It's time for me to move on. Just like how they moved on. Now it's time for me to move on. So that way I am positioning myself properly, so that way God can bring in the king that He has for me, the man that He has for me, And so that way I can receive all that God has for me, all the goodness of God, y'all, because I know God got something good out there for me, because your girl has been waiting. Your girl has been waiting for, you know, this person that God has for me. You know, I know that I am deserving of something beautiful, and I know that it's coming. It is definitely coming. So my prayer for you is to live. It's time to live, because that is what I'm doing. I am living. No longer am I just sitting here waiting for someone to drop at my doorstep. It's time for me to live. And as you're living, as you're seeking God, as you're worshiping, as you're in line with your purpose, a prophet told me, or a woman of God said, that the man God has for you will find you in your worship. I mean, because if that's the person that you're desiring to be, that's the most attractive trait. If that person is seeking the same thing that you're seeking, you get what I'm saying? And that's the best relationship to have, is when that person is seeking God the same way that you're seeking God, and then they desire and see you in the same way. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're like, man, this is amazing. This person is doing things of God, is, you know, just as I am. You know, but I will say beware, because there is some Christian game out here. So for all my Christian girls or ladies and gentlemen, it's Christian game out here. So beware of the Christian game. You get what I'm saying? They'll tell you that they love the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They'll speak the same language as you, but they still trying to figure themselves out too. So understand that that's all part of the process. But if you do Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and then all things will be added unto you. So if you put God first, and you seeking God first, and you doing all things of God, and you living, then that's when it's gonna happen. Bam, just like that. All right. So look, that is the end of this video. This video was titled, "They Left You, Now What?" Okay, they left you, now what? Now we're about to live. So live, sis, live, bro, because God has something too great for us to be sitting here on the couch sulking because we, you know, they left us. It's time for us to live. It's time for us to keep on living. What you gonna do? Lift that head up. Time to keep going, right? Lift your head up and understand that you're beautiful and that you're handsome, and that they may not want you, but somebody will. So that concludes this video. Look, episodes about to be dropping. Beauty talk. Be on the lookout. You see this space over here? Somebody about to be sitting here, because we about to come and talk to you. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.